10% increase in test scores for the entire district. Okay? So because of their research, because they had an initial problem, they wanted to know, why is our district struggling? Okay? What do I think is the right answer? They didn't know, so what did they have to turn to? Research. Okay? They used the software to collect the students' data, and therefore they were able to get accurate data from which they found the problem. Yes. So what did the results tell them? Okay? So the results were able to help them incorporate best practices to help improve test scores. Okay? So I'm going to take you through, how much time do I have? 10 minutes. Okay, so I'm going to take you real quick through this process with an experience that I had while teaching at Hulu Elementary. Okay, so same thing happened to me. I'm struggling in my classroom, and I come across another teacher. And I'm like, you know what, I'm really struggling with this. How can I address this to my students? Or what have you done in your class that I could possibly use in my class? And she said, well, guess what? I'm having the same problem too. So, boom. We already had the same problem, okay? But for us, it was with reading comprehension and their writing skills, thus the assessments I gave you, okay? So, predictions. What do I think is the right answer? Well, we didn't know at that time. So, because of this, we had to go through our formative assessments. What you have actually in your hands is a summative assessment. It was an assessment given at the end of the, what we call not a trial period, but or studying period. Okay, so through the formative assessment, we were able to make a prediction over the span of all of our classes where the problem was. Let's see. So procedures. How will I solve the problem? So this is where research processes come into play. Just like the district in Oklahoma, we went ahead and did our own research. And what I appreciated in the article is what they said, it's not all computer-based. There are hands-on ways that you can conduct your own research to benefit your students. So for us, what we decided to do was we, of course, did our formative assessment. And from there, we were able to meet in our data teams to decide what area of the writing process or reading that we wanted to address. Okay? So what we did was we had several interventions. We called this the intervention period, where we included the data. Okay? So because we knew, So what I decided to work on, what I felt the students need to work on, were introductory paragraphs that incorporated reading, it incorporated reading comprehension, and it incorporated one element of writing, age appropriate for second grade. Okay? Now here's a question. How do you think I got all of this? Nice try. Did I just kind of just pull it out of the air and say, ooh, let me take this, let me take this. Well, I thought of this. Well, I thought of that.
Yes, teachers.
Yeah, you did research to find out what was the best
Yes.
to
Okay. In the article, it says that when you are baking and you try a recipe and you add chocolate chips to a recipe that never had chocolate chips to begin with, you are researching. Okay? You want to add the chocolate chips in just to see how it will turn out. Will it taste good? Will it not? This is exactly what we did. We were able to take the research and we were able to take the data from someone else, okay, and see it as, this is an amazing intervention book. You should totally get it. and we were able to incorporate it to our students' needs. Does that understand?
Yeah.
Okay. So, having done all this, there we go. Okay. So having done this, we were able to not guess, no, that's the wrong word. We were able to incorporate better practices for the kids to develop their reading. So interventions included. This is a manual that it addresses everything. All learning disabilities, it includes interventions for behavioral students, it includes interventions for SPED students.
Just like a little
It includes,
teaching Bible.
it's amazing. Speaking of Bible, that's what the teacher who gave it to me said. She said it's like the Bible. Like I borrowed the book one day from her and then she wanted it back the next day. I mean, she was not even trying to let me have it. Okay. Another form of interventions that we did where we did level reading. Of course, when you're in a classroom, you cannot group your students all together. So thanks to the data, we were able to break them apart into groups, and we gave them level readings for them to practice. Okay. Another thing was small group instruction. We were able to break the students up into different groups, and according to their needs, when they came to a specific group, that struggle or that problem was addressed. Okay. And then the results. So we got our comprehension, we got our writing skills, our introductory paragraphs is what we wanted to work on, and that's what I was looking for because it incorporated reading comprehension, and writing skills for introductory paragraphs. Okay? So, before we get to the conclusion, I posed the question, you guys posed the question, how are we supposed to grade this? Right? Okay, any idea of what you might need? Oh, ding, 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 you get a piece of candy at the end. Okay, yes. Rubrics. After 3 to 4 attempts of reorganizing, rewriting, revamping, everything with this rubric, we were able to come up with a grading rubric to grade our students. Now, with this rubric, we did even more research. We were able to get rubrics from other school districts, not just in Hawaii, but on the mainland, to see how they were grading their students. Also, we were able, you have to use the Common Core standards. So through a mixture of all of those things, we were able to come up with a rubric that was obviously age appropriate and was very measurable for when we did our assessment with our students. Okay? So, now that you have a rubric, go in and regrade those papers.
Poor guy. Seems to be a much worse grade than I gave him now.
Give me 1 minute for this. We're just looking in the introduction. I'm sorry, I forgot to let you know. We're only looking at the introduction paragraph. That is what we were working on. Introduction paragraph.
Is it? Oh, this is just an introduction?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yes, it's only an introductory paragraph. That's it. That's all it is.
Okay.
Do you know these kids? Are you related to these kids? Okay.
No, these are my students. These were my students from last year.
Just didn't know if you had your kids write these, and I was like, no, I don't want
Oh, no. They've already been graded. They've already been graded and assessed, so you don't need to worry about it.
to.
How much easier is it to grade it now that you have a rubric?
A lot easier.
A lot easier. Okay? And I stress again, this is another form of research. These rubrics were not just picked out like, oh, I think this will work and this will work. Oh, maybe this will work. No. Research was taking place in all of this. Okay? It was, and like I said before, it was tedious and it was hard because some of the students, you know, learning abilities are different or whatever. But in the end, it was worth it because for my results were that, ouch. What the heck is going on? Oh my gosh, I don't have that. Well, okay, so results were that half of my students, or about 1/3 of my students were developing proficiency, DP at the beginning of the year. By the end of the year, 75% of my class were at meeting proficiency. And that's because of research-based instruction. My readers, because of our small group instruction, my lowest readers improved almost 4 reading levels because of reading. Okay? So in closing, I want you guys to think about if you were to meet with these kids one-on-one, what is one thing that you would, what kind of practice would you incorporate?
Well, with my degree being what it is in the area that I'm going into, it's interesting to like think about where kind of their ability to comprehend things and then draw or infer conclusions, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I mean, this kid like restated, you know, the general thing, but there's like a lot of grammatical punctuation. I mean, there's just a lot of issues that it'd be nice to go over, and that might help to draw out, you know, a better understanding of what they read. Because everything in this is broken up well. I mean, the initial description of things is broken up well. So maybe if they start forming their mind in the way that it, you know, things that they're reading are written, so they can kind of repeat in a fluid way, it would be helpful.
Okay, I want to end with this. Okay, but before we end, I'm going over like what, 2 minutes?
Well, kind of talking.
Okay. Assessment time. What is, you get a candy if you answer the question. Okay? Each of you, simple. I want you to just give me a step in the research process.
Problem.
What about the problem?
Assess what the problem is.
Job. Oh, sorry. What about you?
Data.
What about data?
How to fix the problem, or what to pinpoint what the problem is and how to fix it.
Good job. Sorry, choose one. I don't know if you want that one. What about you, Eric?
The conclusion
This one's open.
and how to use the data or information that you receive in a productive way to carry on with your class, so that you can a lot of times gather more data and do more research later on. So.
Exactly. Okay, and I'll end on this. Research cannot and does not identify the right or best way to teach, nor does it suggest that certain instructional practices should always and never be used. But research can illuminate which instructional practices are most likely to achieve desired results with which kinds of learners and under what conditions. Yay, research-based instruction.
Yay.